What's up, Quake fans? I'm here to bring you a special video today of me doing a podcast with my buddy, TheMotherLoad, in Cathalas Keep. Um, I do run a podcast called the Full Tech Podcast, and you can check it out over at KentuckyNerd.com. But I'm going to show you the full video, and it's all about arena first-person shooters. I hope you guys enjoy, and you can subscribe on all the other podcast directories out there. Have a good one. You can listen to the Full Tech Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all other major podcast directories. Welcome to the Full Tech Podcast. This is your host, Mango, at KentuckyNerd.com. And I have a special guest today, my buddy from the Keep, Cathalas Keep, TheMotherLoad.
I want to start off by saying I can't think of a more inappropriate guest for the Full Tech Podcast because I am a technological deviant. I don't know anything at all. We're going to talk about games I don't understand. Oh, this will be fun, man.
I think it should be good. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean it's been a rough few weeks. Like I told you guys, I've been non-present as hell because I've just been so busy. Like I went and visited my family. And then I had to come back and immediately had like a forward shift change. So I had triple jet lag, like from the East Coast back to the West Coast and then down to another shift all in a couple of days. But hey, I'm here. Yeah. Let's do it.
So today, guys, we're going to talk about arena first-person shooters and how they define PC gaming, because that's what the Full Tech Podcast is about PC gaming. Pretty much. I mean, it's about gaming news and stuff too, but it's about PC gaming mostly because it's just the best. I mean, let's just be honest.
It's about so much more, man. Cause I mean, some of the episode, like just the episode you did recently about like the AMD processor, that's so informative to someone like me who's like I really didn't learn much about PCs until the past couple of years.
Honestly, that's kind of the people I'm going for, or I don't know what to say. I'm drawing a blank.
Audience,
yeah.
Your niche audience is people who are new to PC
like
gaming, looking for information.
I mean, I work in the IT field, so obviously I'm like, probably a little bit more advanced than the normal user, but I'm not so far advanced. Like, I don't program stuff or build stuff from scratch besides PCs.
I'm a weather forecaster, so I possess intelligence. It's just not computer focused.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about arena first-person shooters.
All right.
There's a couple of genres that define PC gaming, and I think arena first-person shooters is at least in the top three. There's probably 3 or 4 that define PC gaming, but arena first-person shooters is definitely one of the main ones.
It's definitely the premier, like the oldest historical, hundreds of years from now, when people are talking about like esports and how it began, they're going to talk about Quake. It's like there's no way around.
I mean,
that.
There's QuakeCon.
Talk about Doom. Yeah, it was the original, and then you have other things. You have especially in Asia and Korea and stuff like that. What is that game called? Stargate or
Stargate.
I'm gonna get so smashed.
Somebody's like, I can't believe you said that.
StarCraft.
Yeah. So
I don't understand it. Or MOBAs. That's the other one.
So MOBAs I think they kind of fit in the same realm as strategy games, and that's what you're talking about is real-time strategy games, because Dota is what all that's based off of. Is based off of Warcraft 3. It was a mod. I don't know if you know that. So Dota was based off of a Warcraft 3 mod, and that just spawned the MOBA genre. I mean, it's still a strategy game, technically. So PC gaming is arena first-person shooters, strategy games, real-time strategy games, MOBAs. They're about the same thing. Then you have simulations, and then you have all kinds of these crazy indie games. So
yeah, I mean, there's a million. We could fill up 3-4 hours, maybe a week or two, just sitting here naming off different types of games.
Oh
yeah. So arena shooters. is what that's my, I don't want to say expertise. I'm not an expert. I haven't put in my 10,000 hours, but that's my that's my main focus. Like that's what I'm, schooling myself in
Yeah.
and have been for the
So
past year.
so you've actually heard the same thing I have heard, is that you have to put like 10,000 hours into something to become a professional at it.
Yeah, well, I heard it was David Lee Roth talking, and he, like, on top of being one of the greatest singers of all time and one of the best bands of all time and all that shit. He was talking about, like how he just dropped Van Halen, fucked him, walked away. I'm sorry if I cursed on your podcast.
It's okay. I'll try to bleep it out.
He went to Japan and like learned to be a sword master. He just like went to a real
awesome.
sword master.
I'm going to go be a sword
and it's
master.
teach me to be a samurai. But he says that it's not just like 10,000 hours is a good idea of how to become an expert in something, but really it's just consistent.
Yeah.
Like, put in your 8 to 10 hours every day for a week for 20 years.
I mean, I feel
something
like if
that.
you put in 10,000 hours into something, you probably have a good grasp of what it takes to do the whatever it is correct.
The thing is that, no, like, being a master, what is that? That just means that you're above everyone else, because like even in arena first person shooters, like Rafa, I'm sure he learned something every day. We've seen him do it live on the air. Like, we see him realize, like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. That's the beauty of it, is it's an ever growing, ever changing. Like, as far as any kind of game in Quake or in arena shooters, whatever the physics will allow, within the laws of physics, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's what attracts people. The bounds are endless.
So I got a question first, both, and just to get on topic just a little bit, is what got us into arena first-person shooters, or our first game? What was your first arena first-person shooter game?
I've told this story a couple of times. I was in high school. I want to say my freshman year, and I had never played anything on a computer other than, like, simple Google Flash games, Java, that whatever the hell, And this guy brought in Quake 3 Arena and put it, loaded it up on the LAN and just ticked it off, started playing it, because the teacher, she was busy, I don't know what she was doing.
They don't teach.
And we,
Public
she
school
definitely
system.
was. I didn't learn a damn thing about business tech in that class.
No.
But I learned a lot about Quake, and there's I'm assuming it was the guy who brought it in. We never figured it out. There's a guy called Skittle Dick who clearly knew what he was doing.
What a name!
And the rest, yeah, and the rest of us didn't. We didn't have any idea. It was just like, oh, okay, so I just push W to walk forward, left, right, shoot. That was it was as simple as that to me.
So it was
I really enjoyed it.
So it was the original Quake.
Quake 3.
Okay,
Arena,
Quake 3.
Yeah. And then I didn't really touch it for a long time. And then years later, probably 2-3 years ago, I had a friend who was in that class with me, and he hit me up and said, like, hey, I just bought that game, Quake 3, on Steam. And I bought it too, and we just started playing. And then over time, I don't know if you remember Macro Array from the Keep. He got into
His name sounds familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it don't matter. I mean, the point is, he also started playing with me. He's actually out here with me for a while. He just moved away, but we played Quake 3 together all the time. And then Quake Champions came out, and that's when I really deep dove. But that's essentially my story.
So I think my first person shooter was probably Doom. I know some of my older cousins had it on Super Nintendo, which is like the worst version ever, besides the Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn version of Doom is like I don't know how that game runs that bad on a system that powerful. It makes no. It's just a terrible port. It is the worst port ever. It's literally like watching a slideshow. But
I think when the Saturn was like, they were afraid it was going to die, they brought it to Carmack and said, would you like to do Doom for it? And he did it in like a day. Like, the next day sent them the port. So
that must have been it. I don't know, but it is it's notoriously bad. I will say that. It is so bad. I've played it myself, and because I have a Sega Saturn, and it is so bad. Like, I was like, I have to try Doom on Sega Saturn. It's got to be good. No, it's bad. But I think that was the first one, but I never did play multiplayer. My first multiplayer, honestly, was probably, I don't know, it goes back to the 90s whenever it was either Unreal or Quake, and I really honestly
What,
do not know which one it was. Unreal Tournament or Quake.
what like
Quake 3.
Unreal Tournament 99?
Yeah.
Unreal Tournament. Yeah, okay.
I think, I played Unreal before, like the original Unreal. I don't know if it had a death match or anything. I can't remember, but I don't even think I had a computer at that time. I didn't get a computer until I was in middle school, which is in 1998.
I didn't get one until I was 21, 22 years old, something like that. I mean, we had a computer in the house, but I never had my own computer.
Yeah.
I bought a laptop a couple years, 3 years ago, and then I played Doom. Actually, on my honeymoon is the first time I played Doom.
Well, you had a good honeymoon.
I was bored. My wife actually broke her foot.
Oh,
Jeez. Yeah, so we were just kind of stuck in the hotel room for a week.
Gee.
And I was like, well, I better make the best of this.
That sucks.
Hey, dude,
it's kind of awesome too. Like, sucks and awesome for you, sucks for her.
Well, she had a great time because we were in Colorado, so she don't get drug tested, I guess.
There you go. But I think my first games on PC that I actually owned, I think I probably had a cracked version, I know there was the Quake 3 demo that you could play online. I don't know if you remember that, but you could play the Quake 3 demo online, and you had the longest yard Q3DM17. You had it, and you could just play with anybody, like even the people that own the game.
Yeah, I wasn't around for that, man. But I played like when I was a senior or a freshman in high school. First time I played it, that was in 2009, 2010.
Yeah,
that's the first time I ever heard of Quake. Like,
so I guess I've been around a lot longer than you.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it was. I know I had Half-Life. So if you consider Half-Life an arena first-person shooter, the death match, I played it probably more than I played Quake before Quake 3 really got popular.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think I had a cracked version anyway. So I don't think I ever really owned the game at the time, which is bad. So I mean, I was a kid anyway. Somebody just gave it to me and was like, "Here you go." I was like,
I
cool.
think we need to, that brings up the question of like, is Half-Life Deathmatch an arena shooter, and we have to like really define that.
Defining the arena first-person shooter. That is.
Yeah, I mean, it should be simple. It's in the name. It's arena first-person shooter. You're in a closed arena and you shoot from the first person, and that should be it. But there appears to be a lot of disagreement about.
I mean, as long as it's enclosed. I guess there's outside maps too. It should be arena first-person shooter.
Some people, they're like, I've seen it online where people argue and they're like, well, you can't strafe jump. Like, well, you couldn't strafe jump in Quake 1.
No.
Is Quake 1 not an arena first-person shooter? Is Unreal Tournament not an arena first-person shooter? Is Halo like I don't know.
You could say there's different genres of arena first-person shooters then, which there is.
You could.
But
you certainly could. And it's like there's like a tree branching
Yeah.
off. It's like the ones that came, from Quake 1 and Quake 2, the ones that came from Quake 3, the ones that have nothing to do with them came from the arena, like the Unreal Engine, and Half-Life is another perfect example.
Yeah.
There's brand new shit on, like, Reflex is on its own engine. Like, they built that from scratch, and it's fucking beautiful. And I barely know anything about that game. I tried to write that one article, and man, but I misstepped. I misspoke about a lot of stuff because I really haven't.
You're gonna be started on those guys.
Hey, they're nice people. They mean well.
Yeah.
People care about their games. Whatever your pet game is, you'll probably step up and kick some ass for it if you have to.
So,
somebody talks shit about Quake Champions and you get all upset.
I used to a little bit there for a while, but now I'm like, which is our honestly next little topic here is Quake Champions.
Okay.
So, but let's try to define the arena first-person shooter. So, just make it clear, we're saying if it's enclosed, I think you probably should have like power items in it too, honestly, because that's probably what some people are missing.
Yeah, some people want like
there should be
that
like
and
a
rotating armor.
Yeah, rotating armor. That probably defines a little more than probably just throw them in there like Doom did and kill each other. Which Doom's, I think, even Doom 2016. I was hoping that game was going to be good before Quake Champions was announced, and it was just awful. Like it was bad.
I
The
didn't.
multiplayer.
I didn't dislike the single player.
Yeah,
Is
single
great.
player is fantastic.
Didn't take off. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are still hopeful for Doom 2 to really bring it back and do it right this time. But
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. It Let's just get started on Quake Champions, because there's so many things that Quake Champions is missing, and they've done right too. Like,
look, it's arena first-person shooter. It's defined. It's in the name. If you can't live with that, I don't know. Take it with somebody else.
Like,
Quake Champions, go ahead.
So Quake right now, I think it's a fantastic game, but it definitely it is so it's missing so many things that made Quake like Quake. Like, there's no mod support, which is just insane to think about. Like, if you would have told somebody in 1998, like, there was going to be no mods for Quake 3, they would probably just been like, what are you talking about? Are you insane?
So, I used to feel the same way you do. And then I listened to Jahar talk about this topic, and he changed my mind. So, if you think about the engine, and you could argue either way about that too, that Quake Champions is built on, and the detail that goes into the maps, like Awoken.
I should show my Quake 3 tattoo real quick.
I can show my Wu-Tang Clan tattoo under here.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. It's under there. But so, who has the computing power to make a Quake 3 or a Quake Champions map? A Quake 3 map.
I agree.
That's easy. That's a simple drag and drop tool. But if they open source Quake Champions and just said anybody can do whatever they want with it, how many people could actually have a computer to do that? That's a lot.
Well, why did they choose this engine that nobody can do anything with? Like, I think where Quake Champions really fails is honestly a game as a service. Like, it should have not been that, and it would have been better. Like, I think they should have made it AAA title, $60. Everybody has their hands on it. Like, I've spent $30 on Quake Champions so far. Like,
there's so many different models for how to release a game, though.
Yeah.
Shareware could have been a route. Or, free to play is not bad because it does get people to try. But I do prefer, like, ideally, the old tried and true, pay the money, get everything forever, no DLC, which they haven't done. There's not, the only microtransactions are for skins and like weapon skins. There's no, as long as there's no pay to win, I don't care.
Yeah, I agree. That it is the best way to release free to play games. But I think Quake's good, but it's definitely missing, like, community servers is a big one for me. Like, why is there only 4 slots? Like, it's insane how many people used to play Quake CTF on Quake 3 back in the day. It was like 12 on 12 or something.
But even then, that I don't knock on that. I'm not super familiar.
Maybe it wasn't as competitive, you could argue, because there's just so many people. But I don't know. The competitive scene was still duels.
Well, here's a good example. Take it back to back in the day. I'm sure you played like WrestleMania 2000 on the 64. Right?
I don't know if I did or not. I never had a 64.
Right, well,
I mean, I have a 64 now, but I didn't have one back then.
I'll go on my wrestling game tangent. So, in wrestling games, like, you would have that weird thing where, like, that you do the Royal Rumble. It's a 30-man bounce. Like, it's just they constantly, every minute or whatever, release another person into the game. But the game only had 8 slots, so you could never you'd be sitting this until someone gets eliminated. They can't fill that slot. The next person's not coming out. So it just made that whole process of playing that game pretty terrible. Like, a Royal Rumble in a video game sucks, as opposed to in real life it's really exciting and cool. Or can be. Some of them have been shit, but
yeah, I agree.
It's not the wrestling podcast. So
was coming up next.
the problem with the watching it in person, though, is that it becomes a big jumble and it's disorganized. So if you're having 12 on 12 CTF, yeah, I mean, who's really, like, how do you really know how to define it? It's not a bad thing to put an 8-man cap on it. Just limit it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
That's
It's
not a
just,
bad
I just
move.
think
Yeah.
I feel like it's missing so many things, and
Well, like, what's the hit list? Like, go right down. You said you don't like the lack
no
of mod
mods.
ability, no community servers,
That's probably the two big ones.
yeah.
I,
And
I
then
I think the third one would be trying to get new people to play. And I don't know what it is, but they just somebody posted the other day on Reddit, and he made a good, post about somebody come watch this stream. They said, I'm going to go install this game. This game looks awesome. But, of course, he was watching somebody that was experienced with Quake.
yeah,
And if you're watching somebody that's good at Quake, you're like, holy crap, this game looks amazing. Like, they're doing rocket jumps and they're hitting rails and people's flying in there. I mean, it looks amazing. But then somebody joins in Quake Champions right now. They go log in and they're like, they have to play bots first. And they're like, oh, this game's easy. I've had new people I've met. I'm like, man, do you play Quake? I ask them, like, yeah, man, I installed it the other day, and I joined my first game, and I got 30 kills. I'm like, was it bots? And they're like, yeah. I was like, the bots are terrible right now. Like, they're if you put it on Nightmare, they're terrible. And they're like, really? I was like, yeah. I mean, to me, I think they're terrible.
I'm not gonna retell that story, but episode 2 of In the Keep, you can hear my whole just shitting on that part of the game.
So then they actually go to a real game, and they're going to play like a veteran, and they're just going to get absolutely shit on. And they're going to be like, what in the world just happened? And they're honestly not going to know. They're not going to know that this person probably has full map control even in Team Deathmatch.
Yeah.
And he's just going to get upset, and he's going to install the game and say, this is a cheater. That's what he's going to do.
I think it's on,
and it's like,
I think it's on
what do you
us
do to
as
that?
the community to just be cool to people when they're new. Because, even if someone says something fucking horrible to you,
Yeah.
like I've had people accuse me of cheating, call me every name,
me too,
that kind of stuff, and I'm always like, I just ignore that, and I'm like, good game. Also, if you would like to get better, I will help you out.
And even
like,
us,
it doesn't matter.
We're not even like top tier players. We're like gold, maybe our ceiling might be diamond.
I'm not even remotely close to being diamond. I barely cracked gold at all. Like, you can probably go back to my stats. I don't think I've ever had an official gold rank.
We're not really duelers. Like, we like doing it just to do it, but that's not our focus. I don't think it's not mine.
No, dude. I love duel. Duel is like, I don't want to do anything. As far as I'm concerned, I love the fact that people enjoy CTF and Clan Arena and all that. And SAC. A lot of people really like
Sacrifice is one of the best modes for Quake Champions.
Yeah, I get why people like it, but to me, duel or nothing. I don't want to waste my time.
I'm just not a dueler. I've not put the time into it to really get. Yeah. I don't know what my ceiling is because I've never actually tried to hit it. I guess I have no idea.
What I like about duel is that it's just there's no. I used to play 2v2s like exclusively.
2v2s is good. I like that.
I was really good at it with same guy, Micro Ray, and then but the problem is that it falls off. Like, if your schedule gets jacked up, like, I don't want to play 2v2s with just, some random guy or whatever. Like, I like the blind date aspect because you meet people and you have fun. But as far as being competitive, you have to depend on another person. But with duel, it's me or you. Which one of us is better today? And that can change by, by the map. It can change by which one of us drank more coffee. It could be a lot of things, but it really comes down to, like, how good are you really? We're about to find out. You can't be carried by another player.
It's true. I mean, I definitely like watching it more than I do playing duels. I will say that. And we're going to have to talk to Slip and Unkind. If you guys don't know, listening, they're the podcasters of the State of Quake. We're going to have to talk to them about having this blind date on other days besides Saturday, because I just can't play on Saturdays. I wish.
But that's so hard for them too, because they have lives. And honestly, I don't understand how Slip does, because Slip's got he's got a whole life and a job and everything, and he's still doing this like twice a week, every week, holding it down, keeping the community together. Essentially, after they stopped giving out, Quake Open League dropped off. Like, State of Quake is the only game in town. If you want to play Quake Champions competitively in North America, and even Europeans are playing with high ping over here. Sanja, She's won I think
Yeah.
2 Diamond in the Roughs in a row. Like they're holding it down. They're the only people really like. Maybe it's duct tape and glue and a little bit of gum and paper clips holding it together, but they are holding it together.
Man, it just Quake Champions. It really is a good game, and it's taking people like us. Like the other day, I honestly got one of my best friend, like childhood best friends. He got him a computer, and he's like, "Man, I want to play Quake," and he's been a console player for his whole life. I'm like, dude, you honestly pick the hardest game ever to try to learn mouse and keyboard on right now. But I went the custom maps with him. I'm like trying to show him little things. I was like, dude, it's gonna take you a long time. Don't get discouraged. It's gonna take you a while to understand what even strafe jumping is. Like I'm gonna send you videos. You can watch them. It's just taking people like us, to get people playing. I guess I don't know what the answer is.
It goes unsaid too much, I think, but a lot of people don't play Quake Champions specifically because they do not like champions. They think it's a stupid idea, and to some degree, it does make the game unbalanceable. I'd say the only way to undo that is, there's champ bans, there's ways around it to try to make it, a way. But CTF, as long as Sorlag and Anarchy have CPM movement and other players don't, CTF will never work in Quake Champions. That's my honest opinion.
I agree.
It's just it doesn't lend itself to that style of gameplay, which is unfortunate because a lot of people, their whole thing is
CTF. That's why Sacrifice works a little better in Quake Champions than CTF because it takes them running the flag out of the equation. Like they can get it and take it to their base, then they have to still defend. Like you're just not getting running away. I mean, they're trying to fix it in the PTS. I don't know if you've seen the flag drag. It helps a little bit, but they're still pretty quick. We'll see.
Nah, it's as long as you can. It's just the physics of how CPM movement works. If you shoot someone in the back and they go faster, then you're fucking yourself over.
Yep.
That's just the way. I'm gonna hand to God. I'm gonna stop cursing on by the end of it.
I'm gonna try to bleep it out, so it's cool. I'll make it like a little duck sound. It'll go. Oh,
I can't wait to listen to that back. But it's the champions, and even like I had a long argument. I don't want to say anything bad about them, but a long argument with somebody online.
Yeah.
About they didn't like the champions aspect of the game. They didn't understand it, and then they revealed to me later that they actually never played the game. They just didn't like the idea of it, which is it's they're right, but. So in Duel, you pick 3 champs. For anyone who's listening who hasn't ever played the game, you pick 3 champs. They pick 3 champs, and you take turns picking. I think that a huge part of the game, and what makes the game interesting as a chess match, is that you pick accordingly to who they pick. Sometimes you see mirror matches. Sometimes it's like as simple as like, okay, he picked BJ. Maybe I'm not good with BJ, but I'm good with Nyx, and I know I can. If BJ pops his dual wield on me, I can disappear, make him waste it, and then punish him for it. Or that's a really interesting new aspect to the arena shooter in general, and it's not brand new. There are older games who have had different weight classes and things like that, but people don't talk about it for whatever reason. They just want to take a big.
You can say shit. That's Blackguard.
Okay. They want to take a big, heaping, steamy dunk on Quake Champions because of it, acting like that's a new thing. It's not. But
it's like Quake Champions has great potential, and I don't know what it's lacking something. I don't know what it is. I think it's fantastic. Like I could play it all day. Another thing, when we'll move on to another topic because we have talked about Quake Champions we can talk about it probably all day long, but is continuous lobbies. Like why is that not a thing? Why is it not? They tried it honestly at first in 2017, and honestly, you would sit in the lobby and you could keep playing, but it's like nobody knew. Everybody just hit escape the whole time and left. And half the time it didn't work or it bugged out. So I don't know. Like I said, it's like I think they're just like, screw it. Let's join back up again.
Unfortunately, the player base is what causes a lot of these problems. It's just the fact that there's not a lot of people in the server. But the continuous lobby thing, while it works, say in Dusk, it's like perfect as far as I'm concerned. But I wish we could talk about Dusk, but somebody hasn't played it.
I mean, you can talk about it. I've seen it. I've seen it played.
Yeah, but the devs, and I'm sure Bethesda, the all-seeing eye of computer games, that I think they want to guarantee you a good playing experience, and by trying to do that, by not, they want, if you're in this lobby, you will play the game from beginning to end. They wanted that, and then later on, they just made it to where like you could join mid game, and people could, if people dropped, it would drop a bot in their place and all that. But
Yeah,
there's no way, if there's not enough people in the room, there's no way to guarantee that the game is even and everybody's having a good time. And that's a big thing that I'm sure all games are going to have to struggle with, but particularly in Quake Champions, it's very difficult because if you get if you got a team of a bunch of rangers and then you get an anarch who just, is dying, and then meanwhile there's violent hearts on the other team or something like that. Like, how are you supposed to?
yeah,
How are you supposed to have a good time? And I would have a good time because I just enjoy playing and learning and different movements and having fun with my friends. But some people really want to be competitive every single time they play. And to tell you guys the truth, pubs is not the way to do that. If you're looking to, really be competitive and play, you need to play customs. You need to seek out those Discord servers, cough cough, and find
Cathala's Keep, baby.
Of your skill level to play with.
What?
All right. I'm done with Quake Champions.
If you guys want to join us on Cathala's Keep, I'll definitely leave a link in the description below. Be sure to click on that and join up. Play some Quake, and we're going to talk about all the other arena first person shooters because they're awesome too. Honestly, we're just going to talk about in general what's the best arena first person shooters out right now or coming out.
Unequivocally, number one, Dusk World.
So tell us a little about is Dusk a Quake 1 engine game? Is that what it is? I forget. Or did they make their own engine?
I don't want to speak out of turn here. I believe it's on the Unreal 4 engine. I could be shitting on myself and making myself look bad. I'm not trying to. You know what? Let's save ourselves some time. I got Google pulled up right now.
Look it up. So there's you look it up and I'll talk about Unreal Tournament right now, UT4, I guess is what it technically would be called. It's out right now. It's still in alpha because the developers are just like, we'll just let it sit here. They're like Fortnite. So one of the greatest arena first-person shooters, Unreal Tournament, is no longer getting supported by the original developers anymore for some unknown reason. Makes no sense why. It actually has a very good engine, and it's still fun to play right now if you wanted to play it. There's also Diabolical, which is coming up, which is based on the Unreal Engine 2, I believe. Mm-hmm. And it is looking very promising. I'm not so sure I like the Eggbot designs, but I'm for a good arena first-person shooter game. I mean, I'm just for a good one. And if you're talking about other arena first-person shooter games that I've always considered kind of arena first-person shooters that's been good is probably Halo, and they actually just announced it for PC like yesterday, like coming to PC. Yeah.
I know Killer Nukem's going to be
the Master Chief Collection.
He's going to be losing his mind trying to get his hands on that new PC Halo. He's all about that. But so I don't even know. I'm not going to speak out of turn. I believe it's on the Unreal Engine. Dusk is, but I could be wrong. But it's so unbelievably fast paced, and the movement, like the air movement, it's very similar to CPM movement. You do still need to push the W key to go forward. Well, I would encourage anybody to go look up a video of like Ceasepool or Brondo playing Dusk, and just to see what the possibilities of movement are. The weapons are a bit different than in Quake in general. I think we mispublished something in the
we probably did.
I wrote about it. We said something to the effect of like, I think you said no hit scan weapons. That's not true. There are hit scan weapons, but there's no equivalent to a railgun,
lightning gun.
Right?
I think that's what I meant. That's what I meant was a lightning gun.
It happens. People just want to poke holes at us and anything to shit on another human being. But it don't matter. Point being,
so, I actually got an interesting message on the QuakeFans.net website. Because I didn't know. I've honestly never heard of defrag, and now that I look at it, I honestly thought all those maps were just called jump maps. I literally thought that's what it was called. And I was like, oh, that's defrag?
Yeah. Yeah, race maps, stuff like that.
Okay. I guess I didn't know what it was. I also did. I knew what it was then, I guess technically, but this guy's like, you don't know what defrag is? Some professional you are. I was just like, I've literally never heard of defrag. Then I started looking up defrag movies. I was like, oh, just custom jump maps. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
I don't know why it's called that.
I didn't know it was called that. I really didn't.
I know a lot of guys. Hardly Salty is a good example. He's probably one of, if not the best, like new up and coming player from the Keep, and he practices on. He goes to Quake Live and plays like practices movement in defrag, and then he comes back to Quake Champions with that, and just it speaks for itself in his gameplay. Like the guy's movement, his ability to like just wacky rocket jumps, move around the arena, and all that. Even playing Clan Arena is another big one that a lot of the higher skilled guys use to just to get really nailed down their move.
I like Clan Arena. I think it's fine.
It's my favorite team mode.
Yeah, it's fun.
Open Arena, Clan Arena. I highly recommend that too.
So that's our suggestions for arena first person shooter genres. What?
Open Arena.
Open Arena.
Master Arena. If you're into like real Unreal Tournament type games, Master Arena.
I would love to recommend Unreal Tournament, but it's like they don't care about it no more. They're all about Battle Royale, Fortnite, and costumes.
Games die. It's okay.
It's sad though, because man, Unreal Tournament really was like one of the main arena first person shooter genres, and it's had so many good releases. It really has.
It's not to say there won't be another Unreal Tournament in the future. Just this one didn't work out. That's okay.
Well, it's like
Quake Champions might not. It might not be here in a year or two.
They haven't stopped development on it, but they're not killing it off yet. I don't understand what they're doing. Won't they just say, we're just done with it? And I was kind of scared for Quake Champions, even because Fortnite's so popular, and you have so many people on Epic Launcher now. I was like, you know what? I said Unreal Tournament has a great opportunity right now for arena first-person shooters. If they would just fix it and promote it just a little bit more, it could probably take over arena first-person shooters. But they're just like, nah, we got Fortnite. We're good. But
it's not impossible. Anything could happen.
But
I mean, my camera went totally out of focus.
They took all the developers and put them on Fortnite. They're like, this game we're not stopping development on it yet. We're just going to focus on Fortnite. And it pisses me off. Like, I can't stand that. Like, why?
They are a corporation. They're a company, and they're trying to make, money. And unfortunately, like anything, the arena first-person shooter market is just not as big as the battle royale market right now. Fortnite is...
It's unfortunate.
The single most popular, video game in culture right now. And as much as I don't like it, it is what it is, and that's how they get their bread and feed their children. So
all the kids on Fortnite are like, Mom, can you give me a credit card so I can buy the banana suit on Fortnite and be like Ninja? That's what they sound like to me.
I really don't want a big AAA title arena shooter. I think that the games come out better when it's, I don't want to say it's a game, but it's handcrafted. It feels like that's what I like about Dusk, or even you could argue Doom was made by a relatively small team. Quake, going forward, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. But what makes games feel great to the player is when you can really tell that they put in the attention to detail, and they had a single mind. Everyone was focused on what they were doing the whole time. And that makes games come out, in my opinion, much more enjoyable for the user. Whereas Quake Champions is, I'm sure, a lot of the things that you and I really wish were there, the devs probably want there too, but they have to argue with the top, the bigger company, whoever that may be, and so on and so forth. And it becomes a money thing, and it shouldn't be about that. If you want something to turn out good, you don't want too many cooks in the kitchen, or too many chiefs, or whatever the PC way to say that is.
The PC way. Oh man, that's funny. Got to be politically correct in 2019, dude. Somebody.
You're being a public figure. You don't want to step on too many.
We're going to get flamed now. Like
that's fine.
full text getting tucked down.
That's all I said.
Full text getting tucked down, man. It's okay.
Too many officers, not enough soldiers.
Like, yeah. No, I get you. Too many leaders. Not enough like worker bees. Just there's first person shooters out there I would never consider arena first person shooter, like Call of Duty, Battlefield.
But you could argue like the early Call of Duty games, right? Because just a limitation of games back in my day were that they didn't have these big open worlds.
Yeah.
It was if it was a closed arena and it was first person shooting, then it's an arena first person shooter maybe. I don't know. I don't like.
But you don't really get all the cool, crazy weapons. You got rocket launchers, but it's not like the Quake rocket launcher.
No. What makes the genre great is the physics.
Or maybe it's even reloading.
Reloading. I don't want that in my first person shooter.
I think
don't want reloading.
To truly qualify as an arena first person shooter, you have to have no reloading. It has to be fast paced. Which is one thing that takes Halo away is the fast pace. Yeah. It's not really fast paced, but you still one thing it does have though is the armor and mega health and stuff and visibility and stuff like that. Like those, you have the power weapons like the rocket launcher. So I don't know. It's a mixture. I know they definitely took cues from Quake. Halo did.
Mm-hmm. I think that it is a matter of what there's a difference between what makes a game an arena shooter versus what makes a game a good arena shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, so if it's going to be good, if the people are going to enjoy it, it's got to have X, Y, Z. It's got reload time. It's got to have crazy fast movement. It's got to have rocket jumping. If it don't have rocket jumping, get out of here. We're not.
One of the other games I always played growing up was Team Fortress Classic. And it was spawned off of Team Fortress, which was a Quake mod.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always felt like even Team Fortress 2 still felt like an arena first-person shooter with me, but it had classes, sort of.
Well, what about CS:GO? Like, is that an arena shooter? No,
I don't think so. I don't think it. I think it classifies more as a strategic first-person shooter than an arena shooter. But I mean, you can play those. You can make it feel more like one with mods. Mm-hmm. And have respawns. Like if you're not respawning it like during the match, I think that takes away from it too. I don't know if you could actually you can't classify everything as a arena first person shooter, but
no,
you kind of can.
I'm playing the devil's advocate for you. I
know what you're doing. It's interesting. Like you would never not consider Quake a arena first person shooter. Like it is like it is the standard, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Quake, all the way to Quake Champions is the standard for arena first person shooters. Then you have
that's gonna get you in trouble, though.
By who? It is the standard.
I don't know. Somebody's gonna get mad.
I don't care.
I don't like you saying it's the standard.
It is. I mean, I'm not saying it's the gold standard. It's a standard. Like this is arena first person shooter. Even Quake Champions, if you don't like Quake Champions, you can still say, like, man, this is arena first-person shooter, right?
I would never argue with that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will argue with you. They just don't. They can't get past the champions thing, dude. They don't like
the champions thing. Does throw you off a little bit, but
man, I want Orb to be a champion. I want
Orb's
so
coming.
Bad.
He's coming.
He better
mark it down.
Orb is #1. If you see me in Quake Live, I'm running around as Orb.
That's gonna be awesome.
Set it up, yeah.
Orb in Quake Champions would be awesome. Now that did throw me off a little bit. I felt like they was trying to cash in on Overwatch's popularity, I guess, and Team Fortress 2 a little bit. I don't know, but I didn't think it was game changing at first. But then you have stupid Sorlag Spit, which is in current game right now. It still drives me insane that I'll take like 90 damage from just walking around until I get a health bubble. It's stupid.
One of the best improvements that got made to the game was the patch late last year where they unified all of the times.
Yeah, that helped.
Everybody has 30 seconds. That made a big difference, and also just nerfing into the ground all special, like active abilities was a huge changer, because for a while there, Ranger was bull crap. Like,
He was.
it was not even fun to play the game against someone who is really good with Ranger, just simply because the aspect of deleting someone like that takes away, in my opinion, everything makes it, combat in a game good. And when the timings were all crazy, you couldn't even guess. Like, you had no idea when he was going to throw that thing at you.
So.
Or BJ. BJ was the other one that just
You had BJ,
LGs.
So if all you had to do was get Ranger, BJ, and Death Knight there for a while, and you could just slaughter people.
Yeah.
Which was dumb, but they fixed it. At least they're fixing it. So the last thing I want to talk about is, should they bring arena first-person shooters back on consoles? Do you think like Quake Champions could fit into like the console world and get more players, bring more popularity now?
I don't think it would. I don't think it'd work.
Like on the Quake fans YouTube, I do play like I try to review old console ports of Quake, and I just picked up 2 new ones today, which is the Quake 3 on PlayStation 2 and Quake Enemy Territory, Quake Wars on 360. But I played Quake. It's called Quake Arcade on Xbox 360, and it wasn't. It was still Quake, but it just doesn't feel right with the controller. I've never thought that.
I don't. This is just a personal me opinion. I'm sure other people feel differently. Plenty of people play first-person shooters on console. A competitive online FPS, it loses a lot from not having a mouse and keyboard. And that's anything. Even CS:GO for the PS3, right? That was like one of the only games on PS3 where people could use a mouse and keyboard on the PlayStation, and it showed, because I'd get in there playing on a controller with somebody really playing with a mouse and keyboard, and it's not. There's no way you're going to be as accurate shooting, and that takes a lot away from it. I'm sure there are people who. Would it make the game more popular? Would more people try it out? Would more people play it? I don't know. Maybe. Probably. But would it be good? That's a different question. I personally would not enjoy that. But I'm a PC master race guy. Even though I'm new to the whole PC thing, like, I'm 100% in on it. And when I say PC, I mean personal computer, not politically correct.
He's all in on the political correctness. Just... I still enjoy consoles. Like, it's okay to be PC master race and still enjoy consoles. Like, I have all of the consoles beside the Xbox.
Oh, no, dude. Yeah, and Nintendo Switch is awesome.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I have old consoles, too. Like, there's the Sega Genesis sitting up beside me, and the NES. I have the PS4 over here.
Over there in that corner somewhere.
But I have 2 PCs right here. I have my streaming PC and my gaming PC.
Man, it must be nice. Must be nice to get paid, man.
Get paid. I wish I got paid more. I need a better processor in this other PC. I'm just like, I don't want to. It's got an i5 in it, 7400, but it's not great for streaming or recording.
So here's a good tech question. I don't know the answer to. What's the difference between like an i5 with a number and an i5 with a number and a K? Like, is the K?
So the K actually helps with encoding for videos, so that's why it sucks. This one doesn't have the K. That's why it sucks for videos and streaming. Because
I have an i5 6600K, and it's never given me issues.
Well, that's why you have the K, so it encodes video better. Like, gotcha. That's what it's made for, is to help with video processing. A little extra power, basically.
Also, like, when you told me about the RAM
problem, and I think it allows you to overclock. Like, I can't overclock this guy because it doesn't have the K.
Gotcha.
But if you get anything AMD, they're all unlocked, so you ain't got to worry about nothing. You just buy it. You can just
there's always two big companies in technology, or anything really. There's always 2 big companies that compete, and one of them is you can do a lot more with it, and the other one provides more guaranteed service that works all the time. But is it?
Well, I mean,
people might think it's better. Like, it's Apple or Android? Is it, is it Apple or PC? Apple stands on a lot of these corners. They're all encompassing. Is it
Apple is like,
Intel or
it needs to wear like a dunce hat, like on top of its head all the time. I hate Apple. I'll go on record saying I just cannot stand Apple products at all.
I don't like
All
the
of
user interface, and I don't like not being able to do whatever the hell I want to it. I don't like the idea of if it breaks, I have to go buy a new one.
You gotta go to the Genius Bar, man. Have them fix it.
No, I'm not. The Wizards.
The Wizards of
South Park.
Apple, yeah. But we could talk about AMD and Intel all day long. I have an Intel over here, AMD over here to the right. Red and blue team. I will say before we end the podcast, I still do not trust AMD video cards. I haven't trusted them since 2013 was the last time I used them, and the ones I had were just garbage. Everything ran like crap. I even had them in Crossfire for more power. It was just it was the worst experience I've ever had with a video card, and I was just like, the drivers are terrible. I give up on them. But I've always thought processors have been great besides the APUs.
I really like my Nvidia card. I've never had a problem with it.
Yeah,
I've
never had a problem with Nvidia.
Yeah, it's great. We need to I want to be careful about like going on record talking about what brands I like, because look, man, we could talk shit about AMD all day. If they call you tomorrow and say like, "Hey, we'd like to sponsor the podcast," and then but then they just hear you shit on all their products. Like I don't want that to happen to you.
Make good products. I won't shit on it, I guess.
But if they're like, we're gonna send you free crap and pay you, the X many hundreds of dollars per download or whatever the hell. Like,
I'm gonna tell people straight up front. Like, if I honestly think it's a good product, I'm gonna give it an honest review. Like that's what I tell all these indie developers that send me copies of the game. I'm like, dude, just because you gave it for free, I'm still going to give an honest review about it. If I don't like it, I'm going to let you know.
Can we talk about like podcasting?
Yes.
For a bit.
Yeah, just for a second, and we'll end it. We're getting close.
Last topic. What time? How much time we got?
Well, I mean, we're over the 50-minute mark, so.
All right. Well, we'll end it in an hour.
Okay.
All right. So we're both kind of entry level into the podcast game. You've been doing it for longer than me, but I got saddled into the State of Quake. All of my stuff is in their feed, so I just kind of got a little jump boost there as far as downloads go. But do you plan to keep Full Tech ad free forever? Like, is that your thing?
I mean, I've been trying to throw little things in there. Like I was going to do the Google project fee. I done it yesterday, but I ain't really worried about it. I'm not worried about it yet. I'd rather get sponsored than do sponsored ads. Like stuff I actually agree with. Like I don't want to just throw like Viagra in here and be like, you guys need to all these males in Canada that listen to the Full Tech podcast, you need to get Viagra or something. I don't know.
Like, what was it, the fleshlight on Joe Rogan for a long time? That was a huge one. Or there's so many. What's the Blue Chew? That's the new one that everybody's advertising. Chill out.
Yeah.
If a product I really believed in, if say like Zoe was like, hey, we'd like to sponsor your podcast, I would say 100%. I think all your products are awesome. Yeah. I love Zoe Mouse. I could talk about how great I think a Zoe Mouse is till the end of time and never feel like a shill or a sellout.
See, I would like to get sponsored by stuff I actually use. Like I use Google Project Fee, so I use my code that I actually have, referral code. That's all. I mean, I'm not sponsored by them. It's just I actually like it. See, if like Humble Bundle says we would like for you to mention us on your podcast, I love Humble Bundle, so why not? Yeah. But if it's like it's something off the wall and I really don't like, I would have a hard time honestly being honest with myself and audience recommending them stuff.
But that's speaking to your character. Yeah. Like you're the kind of guy. It's not about money.
No, it's not about money. I just love doing podcasts.
Yeah, it's just fun. Yeah. All right. I've gotten to talk to so many cool people, man. I don't want to start giving off names, but just like, it's the coolest thing. I can't. I told Violent Heart, I got all like down on earlier this morning. I was just like, dude, thank you so much for like giving me that Kickstart episode, because I've just now I have an excuse to reach out to like people that I never would have got to talk to. You know?
It's cool, man. It's cool. I've met so many people just been in the keep and just joining forces with you. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, let's try to wrap it up here. And
I'm sorry, you can cut it. You can cut out all the curse words. It'll probably take it.
It's gonna take me 2 hours to edit now. No. But if you guys love arena first-person shooters, QuakeFans.net and The Keep, we are aligned. So if you guys want to definitely join up and learn some arena first-person shooters, we have. I mean, TheMotherLoad here. He has definitely made connections beyond connections with like every arena first-person shooter out. I believe there's a few. There's a few we don't really associate with, but. We try.
I try.
He tries.
And I genuinely want to, even if somebody's a complete asshole to me, I genuinely want to give the community as much as I can.
Yeah.
I want to help. If one guy's an asshole, that doesn't mean the whole bridge is an asshole. So maybe there's a way to get in there, and I've done that too. So yeah, definitely. Just like before we end off, I'm not gonna plug. Cathala's Keep will be on there, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Or my podcast. It doesn't matter. Play. Master Arena, play Open Arena, play the smaller games because they're the ones that have the most support. You can talk to the dev, you can tell the dev what you want, and it will probably happen. Play, support Dusk, support. Play. I mean, Quake Champions too. Anything. Just get out there. If you're an arena first-person shooter kind of guy, do not be afraid to branch out, go across different games. You may learn something. You may meet someone else. Anything. It's all about the community, and that's really my whole message.
So, guys, be sure to follow me on Twitter at RealKYNerd. I don't know if do you have a Twitter? You've never said.
No.
You don't have a Twitter.
I don't have a Twitter.
Do you not have social media at all?
Just Discord. Man.
Just Discord. Do you know your Discord thing? Well, I'll link it if you just gotta send it.
At TheMotherLoad.
Just at TheMotherLoad.
Load spelled like a load of.
I'll leave your tag below in the description of Discord.
My name will be on the title of the episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
all right, man.
You guys definitely check out KentuckyNerd.com for all your reviews, indie reviews and stuff like that. And check out QuakeFans.net too for all your arena first-person shooter news, which TheMotherLoad actually helps out and writes articles on there.
I try, man.
He tries.
I don't want another one like that last one.
It is what it is. Hope you guys have a good one. We'll see you next time.
In the Keep.